Hello people, sorry if it's echoey in here. I'm in my living room and it's very open, my house is, so we'll just deal with that issue. Anyway, this video is going to be my top 10 baby names that I won't be using tag. Even though I probably will be using most of these names, or at least some of them if my husband agrees, and I have more than 10 to share with you. I shared with you guys in my last pregnancy update that my husband, I'm currently 27 weeks along, probably more like 28 weeks along by the time you're watching this video, but my husband, he dropped a huge bombshell on me. He told me he no longer likes our baby girl name that we have picked out. The gender, we're keeping the gender a surprise until the birth, so we have a boy name picked out and we had a girl name picked out until he was like, you know what, I don't really like that name, never have. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I have been on the hunt for baby names. I almost went out and bought like baby name books, you know, because there's so many out there. There's like a million names to choose from. And it seems like every one that I bring up to him, he doesn't like. I tend to like the more vintagey, old school, more, not kind of unique, but not like so unique that they're like, what? Names, or at least I don't think so. Other people have definitely said that some of the names that I have are like, what? I've never heard that name before. But I will share them with you guys, don't worry. And what else do I want to say? Yeah, so my husband has shot them all down with like no hopes of bringing up his own baby girl names. He's like, he's desperate to have a boy at this point. We have 2 girls. This one will be a surprise until the birth in November. And yeah, so anyway, I almost bought the baby book. I instead found this wonderful tag on YouTube that is like 10 baby names I won't be using by a whole bunch of YouTubers. It's really big apparently. And I just found it, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll share my baby names with you, and maybe you and your husband will agree on them more than me and my husband have. So here we go. I have 5 boy names and then like more girl names, like, I don't know, 8 or 9. I haven't even counted yet. So let's get into it. Okay, my first girl name that I absolutely love, I've loved it since I first heard it. Channing Tatum named his daughter this, Everly, or I'm pretty sure he did. The name is Everly, and I just think it's so classic and beautiful. And when he announced that that was his baby girl name, I was like, I love that. But we have an Eleanor, and I tend to really like the E-L names, but this is like Everly. Anyway, we also have an Avelina. I have 2 daughters, Eleanor and Avelina, so Everly kind of sounds like Avelina. I don't know. Anyway, should I do all the girl names or alternate? I'll do the girl names. Second girl name is Lena. I love this name, and I didn't realize how much I loved it until I was on the hunt for a girl name. I have a fitness instructor. Her name is Lena, and I walked into class one day, I think the day after my husband told me he no longer likes my baby girl name and my top baby girl name, and I was talking to her and I was like, Lena, that's a beautiful name. But I don't know, I guess it's kind of a compliment if I were to. So my memory card got full, and you'll hear me talk about that in a second, but I realized it cut off more than one girl name that I talked about, so I figured I'd just jump back on and share more baby names with you, because the more the merrier, you know what I mean? Okay, so I was talking about Lena, the name Lena, and if I were to ever like tell my instructor, like if she were to ever ask, hey, what's your baby name? And I'd be like, Lena. She'd be like, it's such an uncommon name. She would like, no, oh, well, you know, oh, you named the baby after me. And I'd be like, yeah, pretty much. Even though she's like an amazing person. So it's a wonderful name. If you would like to have it, it's all yours. Next name is Lucy. I love this name. I've loved it. I brought it up with my last pregnancy. My husband, he's a Beatles fan. And so to him, the name Lucy, he thinks of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And he's like, we can't name our baby Lucy because then she'll grow up to be a drug addict. And I'm like, not quite. Anyway, the same thing happened with Eleanor. We obviously have an Eleanor now, but when I first brought the name up, he's like, Eleanor, like Eleanor Rigby? She's gonna grow up to be a lonely girl. I was like, whatever. He obviously got over that, And now I think he's kind of coming around to the idea of Lucy because, you know, who doesn't love the Beatles and the name Lucy? So we'll see if that ends up being his #1 girl name, which I doubt. Next is Lennox, and this reminds me of like, you know, like dish sets, and my mom has really expensive figurines with the brand Lennox. That's kind of what it reminds me of, but it also reminds me of like, you know, fancy, and I think there's a show on TV, or there was a show on TV where one of the characters' names was Lennox. It was on like ABC Family or something. I don't know. Anyway, wonderful name. My memory card was full. Story of my life. I need to learn how to erase video properly. Anyway, so I think I left you with Lennox. I will share Charlotte is my next baby girl name with you. I love the name Charlotte. I have loved it since I was in high school watching Sex and the City, which I probably shouldn't have been watching Sex and the City when I was in high school, but I was. And I just think it's like an elegant, classy name. I don't know anyone named Charlotte, but I do think that that name is becoming more and more popular. And my husband obviously doesn't like the name Charlotte either. So next on my list is Lillian. I had a cat named Lily. Side note, her beginning name was Salad Fingers. I know. And we ended up, I don't know how it came about, but we ended up just calling her Lily, and it's just a name that my husband and I really, really like. But since we had a cat named Lily, I think it would be weird to name a child after a pet, you know? So, I don't know. It's a wonderful name, even though Lily isn't exactly Lillian. I think Lillian is very feminine and pretty as well. Next baby girl name is Esme, and I do realize that this is a Twilight name, and while I do love myself some Twilight, I don't know anyone named Esme. I think it's, again, a vintage, classic, beautiful name. My paper keeps falling. So, next on my list is Caroline. I obviously love this name. My husband has turned away all of the names on this list. I just think Caroline is so, again, beautiful. Next baby girl name, I know I have a ton of baby girl names. There's only 2 more. Elise, which I think is just beautiful, but again, we already have an Eleanor, L. If they eventually grow up and want nicknames, they'd both be like Ellie or something, so I just think that wouldn't mesh well with our family already. And then my last baby girl name is my #1 top baby girl name that I love it. And I really was wrapping my head around the fact that we were going to name our potential baby daughter this because my husband agreed to it months and months ago and recently shot me down and, you know, spilled the beans and told me that I didn't like it. The name is Meredith. I love that name. Again, it's kind of old school, classic, beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, on to my boy names that many people, our top boy name that my husband and I have had picked out since before we were married, before we had kids, obviously. And many people in our family don't like the name, first of all. And second of all, tell us that this is why we're having girls, because the boy name that we have picked out is so bad. Anyway, that name is Wentworth. So if we do have a boy this time around in November, his name will be Wentworth. I love the name. Again, classic, elegant, lovely. How can you go wrong with Wentworth? It doesn't really translate well to like a nickname, but I just love the feel of like an old English name, which is what that is. Second baby boy name we have picked out is one of my husband's favorite, is Wolfgang. Very German name. I'm German, half Italian, but my grandparents immigrated from Germany, like just the background of that, and we just love the German culture. We plan to move there one day. We lived in Europe a while ago in Italy, but we plan, if we ever do move back to Europe, we plan to move to Germany because just the feel and culture and people, everyone is so nice. So we do really enjoy the name Wolfgang. However, I will tell you, the reason why people don't like those names for our future boy children is because our last name is Wadsworth. So obviously, first of all, it would be super long name, and second of all, it's a lot of W's. But it'll grow character, it'll make the kids smart, whatever. Next boy name I have is Spencer. This can also be a girl name, but I put on my boy name list because my girl name list was getting ridiculously long. And I love this name. I think it's so versatile and kind of different and edgy, but not like so far out there that people are like, oh, what's your name? It's hard to pronounce. You know what I mean? Next baby boy name is Fitzgerald. I like this. I don't even think I brought it up to my husband yet. I think it's a great old literary name, and it just has that beautiful vintage sound and sounds very like masculine and like, I've got my life figured out because my name is Fitzgerald. Or I'm gonna be a millionaire when I grow up. Next boy name, I have 2 more. I know this is way more than 10. I haven't even counted how many yet. Next boy name is Edward, another Twilight name. Again, vintage name. I can't help myself. I'm very attracted to that vintage feel. And my last baby boy name is one that my husband really, really likes. I have a family member named this, so we won't be using it ever. And it's Maximilian. And yeah, that's a full name. It's actually a really common name in Germany, but I think if we had a son growing up in America, people would be like, your name is what? Maximilian? So those are my top 16 baby names that we probably will be using. And let me know your favorite baby names down below. Let me know if you know anyone with the names that I've listed. I would love to know that as well. I think picking baby names is just one of the hardest things that you have to do as a parent, because one, you're like, I love this name now, but am I gonna love it 5 years from now? Is my child going to love it? Is society, are they gonna be made fun of because of their name? And I know kids are rough, and for me, I think if they're gonna make fun of someone, they're gonna find anything to make fun of them with, not just their name, and some people are like, oh, well, don't make it easy for kids to make fun of them and name them something bizarre. But really, a lot of people are named kind of bizarre names nowadays, I feel like. And also, I think it's hard to pick baby names. My husband and I have really big families. He's got 11 brothers and sisters and lots of nieces and nephews. I have 4 siblings, and I think I'm pregnant with my dad's 13th grandchild. So a lot of the names that we like are unfortunately already taken. But I'm hoping that maybe if you share some of your favorite baby names with me, I'll share them with my husband and maybe we'll have a winner here. Fingers crossed, because this baby's coming, and if it's a girl, she's gonna be nameless for a while until we can figure it out and decide. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you stick around, and I will see you next time. Bye. I'm at the stage of my pregnancy, I'm in my 3rd trimester, where I typically begin to feel like a beluga whale. I feel like frumpy and huge.